Alrighty, today we're going to go over the Serratus Anterior and how to start activating the upper part of the Serratus Anterior, which is what I would call the thumb of the Serratus Anterior, because it's like it's wrapped around our back, and that thumb is what pulls our scapula up, and it's the lower part of the Serratus Anterior that is inhibited and shortened on many of us. And so it's the upper part of the Serratus Anterior that needs to be strengthened and shortened so that the levator scapulae is not the main muscle attached to the scapula that is trying to provide stability. And also our triceps and our bicep muscles are attached to the scapula, and they're trying to provide that stability as well. So this is going to be bringing relief to all those muscles I just mentioned, and of course the pec minor. Now we do have to release and relax the pec major before even working on the Serratus Anterior, because you're not going to have success if you do not have that major muscle, the pec major, hanging onto the humerus, your upper arm. You're not going to have any success in getting the Serratus Anterior to be able to stay in that position and not get pulled back and locked down again. So you need to do that work first before working on this upper part. Here we go. So you can do this in a bed. It's what I would suggest. And so you're going to lay on your stomach and you're going to put this arm down. We're going to work on the right side. So you're going to be in the climbing position here. And this is the important part. You're elevating the wrist and the forearm so that the elbow drops down. And you're going to relax in this position for a couple minutes, especially when you start doing this laying on your stomach and with your head turned. Most of you are going to have a really hard time with this position because your neck is so tight. Now you can lay a pillow underneath your head to the side here if you're having trouble being able to lay it flat. And so you can elevate the neck here and have your head at an angle so you do not have so much pressure on it. But you do want to eventually work to the point that you can lay your head flat. So here we are. You have your elbow down. And so now I'm going to start trying to use the upper part of my Serratus Anterior, the top of the shoulder blade. I'm going to try to start bringing it in and up towards the back of my neck. So I'm rubbing my elbow on the bed or the floor, and I am only focusing on using the Serratus Anterior, the muscle that goes along the back of the shoulder blade. So the lower part of the Serratus Anterior is releasing and relaxing. The upper part is tightening and pulling up. And the medial fibers are just releasing as well and allowing the scapular blade to go upwards. And so as you start getting used to this movement, when you're at the top, consciously focus on trying to squeeze the upper serratus anterior fiber. Squeeze it like a bicep. It will ball up, it will tighten, it will feel kind of like your bicep muscle when you do a curl. Now the biggest thing is you are trying to relax your triceps. There's going to be some tightness. Your tricep is going to want to participate. You're also relaxing your rhomboids. You are not trying to use your rhomboids to pull your scapula in towards your spine. You're also not trying to use your levator scapulae attached to your neck to make this movement. Now it will participate naturally, but you don't want it doing the main work. All right, here we go. And of course, you're diaphragmatically breathing throughout this entire movement. So, of course, I'm talking. Now you can also rotate your wrist this direction. This really kind of activates the muscles in the lower part of the scapula, the lower part of the serratus anterior, but it is hitting it from a different angle. And then you can also rotate your wrist this way. Now this is really going to start activating and stretching out your rotator cuff muscles, the muscles that attach to the top of your shoulder. They're going to be stretched when you put your hand in this position. So you're allowing them to be stretched, but you're still only using the serratus anterior muscle to do the movement of the scapula. And now you understand why so many people have rotator cuff tears, because these muscles are always getting used to try to lift the shoulder because the serratus anterior is weak. So we do not want to activate and tighten these rotator cuff muscles. So you can also just, while your arm is in this position, if you're feeling tightness down to your wrist and your triceps, you can move your wrist around. You can also use a foam roller. If you want to do this without a pillow, you can elevate. It doesn't have to be quite this high, but you can also use a foam roller. It allows more activation and distraction by the wrist. It is so important that you have this wrist and forearm elevated. This is how you're isolating the upper part of the serratus anterior. And this is the IDS Integrative movement that is going to start activating and restoring the communication with the brain to start using this upper part of the serratus anterior. And then there will be other IDM mobility movements or mobility exercises to start training this entire serratus to start working together. Now I'm making this look really good because I have already activated the upper part of the serratus anterior, and so I'm making it look very smooth. But very likely you're going to struggle with even activating this part of the serratus anterior. And so you're going to take a break, and then you go to the other side, and then make sure that you try this at least 3 times. And the first time before it might take 3 times before you actually get that serratus anterior, the upper part, to start squeezing. And then each time, each session that you do this, you're going to find that you're able to activate and squeeze the upper part until it starts getting to be more of an easier, natural rhythm. Now, I will say this movement of the serratus anterior is very complex, and there is so much of the neck movement and the upper body movement that is tied to the movement of the serratus anterior that there's a lot of muscles that have got to start firing and releasing to get the whole shoulder stability and the pattern, the movement pattern, to change, and so that you actually bring your shoulders up and it holds it in that place naturally throughout the day. You're going to find that your posture might be a little bit better in the late morning as you're kind of loosened up and you're really practicing it, but then later in the day your posture is going to start falling apart because you're getting tired. And so this is pretty normal with all of the IDS movements, is that your posture is better earlier in the day, and then later in the day your body starts getting tired and you return to the old patterns. All right, if you have any questions, please ask, and if you have any comments, please leave them, and also please hit subscribe. All right, this is the first time I said hit subscribe, because mainly we need a bunch of people to be able to see these. So this is not about me. This is about people being able to see these IDS integrative movements and know how to start restoring their muscular instabilities that are causing so many problems and so much pain throughout the world. And so I really, really want to help all these people and you. And so I need you to participate as well. Thank you so much, and have a great day. God bless.